Okay, so I finally figured out how to make a voice recording. So I'm sitting in my car. It's 25 degrees, I think, out, freezing. I'm waiting for the frost to leave my window so I can move. Where am I? I want to focus on World Charity Day because it's keeping my mind busy and off of my dad and other stuff. So I sent to the girls Ron's NDA, Ron Weisner, the guy I told you about. He did Live Aid and was Michael Jackson's producer during his time of Thriller. Really interesting, very old school, has a ton of connections, kind of outdated in his way, but has a bigger purpose in terms of like his reach. He still deals with huge people. He just produced an Oprah series, blah, 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 blah. I met him through Bill Martinez regarding Cuba. Long story short, I don't know how it got to World Charity Day. I don't remember. But anyway, I wish I could remember. I'll tell you when I do. There was a point, because he didn't know anything about my background or us or what we've done. Actually, I think it was Kids 2000 that started the conversation. I think I had said to him that, I helped co-nurture a 501c3. So I have tons of experience behind me. And it kind of shifted me away from fundraising and more towards the World Charity push, which was, what it is. And he said to me, it's such an interesting concept. What made you not want to be fundraising? Why is it just a thank you? And I said, because blah, 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 money isn't really just the answer, and there's so much more, and da-da-da-da-da, and everybody wants to ask for money, and what's it really done at the end of the day? It was kind of negative, in fact, in my conversation. But he said, it's such a beautiful concept. You should be proud of being part of such an amazing thing. And I said thank you. Mind you, he has no idea it came from my brain, or that it was just what it was. He thinks it's a group of people, which is just fine, until I think at some point I need to tell him my role. Anyway, okay, back to my focus. So in some of these conversations over the past couple of months, he said to me things that led me to, I kept sharing more information about what I've done and my background and what have you. I remember at some point he asked me how I met Bill, and I told him it was about Cuba and my charity background, da-da-da-da-da. So in the present day, a few weeks ago, he shared with me that he wrote a book, and in it he was talking about his experience in Live Aid and things that I didn't really know about him. And I told him more in detail about World Charity Day, and I said there's, my life dream is to have some sort of global event based in music to acknowledge the day. And he said, out of the blue, how amazing could it be to have a series of PSAs around this concept? So what did I do after we got off the phone? I forwarded him the World Charity Day PSA. And he was like, actually, he called me back and was like, how ironic. And I had no idea how far along you are with this campaign. And so we spoke in some detail, and at the end of the conversation, he specifically said, I want to be involved. I want you to speak to Ron Sobel, who's a big attorney. And I want you guys to figure out what my role is. So on Friday, today is Monday, on Friday I spoke to Ron for a while on the phone, and he also doesn't know where the concept came from, so to speak. So I said, look, our goal is to help it keep moving and growing, and every year on 1010, try to create something to mark the day. And I said, I have one day, if you want to know, I have some ideas that are pretty state of the art. The idea of using a platform like the BU platform and bringing advertising and doing something online live on 1010. I didn't really give him the details. I said, look, can I send you an NDA? And then I want to talk to you more about it, period. Okay, so I sent him the NDA, and in 2 hours he sent it back. I was shocked because I figured he would have his attorney do what they do, but he didn't. Okay, so then I got on the phone with him and I explained the whole live stream advertising. It really has never been done yet here to any real marked value. Ivan's in full support of whatever he can do, blah, 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 blah. So my conversation with his attorney regarding Ron's role, they're both Ron Sobel and Ron Weisner. Sobel's the attorney. So Weisner, the producer, wants to be the executive producer, which is huge. I said, I don't need, on our end, there's no need for exposure or a title. I would much prefer it be in the hands, and I think you'd agree too, it would be much better off in the hands of people who are well to take it forward, really take it forward. So obviously I'll be writing terms of a deal, and I think long term to look for something that has more to do with royalties and the use of the name. Okay, I want to refocus back to Ron Sobel, the attorney, who asked me if I was legally represented. I said no. That's the process I'm in now, and he said it'd be something he'd be honored to be a part of. And actually, the first thing he did was also say congratulations for such an amazing concept. Da 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 da. He said he'd be happy to represent World Charity Day. It would just mean signing a waiver of conflict because he represents Ron as well. Obviously, anything that I get created or is created, I'll have someone else check it out too. What else? That's it. I mean, we're going to work on their terms this week, like what it actually means. I'm going to try to create a deal where they take an advertising piece, so there's no money up front. And I'm going to go slowly and carefully. But it looks really good. And we really shouldn't probably talk to anyone about it because it's still needs to be locked down in its way. Okay, well, I managed to fill 8 minutes and 40 seconds. And that's all for now. I can't wait for you to be home. I need to be able to pick up the phone and call you. All right. Tons of love and everything else. I'll talk to you more.